Rightio guys, here it is. You've been asking for this one for a while, and I've finally sort of got the boat half cleaned up at the moment, and we'll take you through this bit of a rig rundown on this Stabicraft 2050. I'm going to start from down the bottom, up the front of the trailer, and hopefully I don't forget anything. Alright, so trailer is all-terrain trailers. Lad in Ingham built this one. She's an off-road aluminium trailer. So starting at the front, we've got an arc, sort of like a 360 mount drawbar. We've got battery charger that's here, and that runs the battery in the trailer. Comes through. Super wide drawbar. So this is two sections of box that have been welded together. We've got a carbon winch of 4,500. That's what winches it on. Up in here we got work lights. So this one here is just a little light that sits in behind, helps you at night time. We've got a water pump. What the hell's a water pump, you say? I'll show you that one a little bit later. And then winch in, winch out, isolator switch. She's pretty simple. Getting onto here, I'll show you a look in the front. So we got the massive big stone protectors here. This is the toolbox that sits in the trailer. So on this side, you got your battery in here, the water pump sits in here, a couple of spares for the trailer, the suspension and that, all sits in that one. Coming further back, I'll show you a quick look underneath. She's pretty hectic under here. So it's full independent suspension with shock absorbers and one spring on each wheel. This was all custom made by All Terrain Trailers, the lad in Ingham. We've had this one for probably just going on 2 years, this trailer. Absolutely no dramas. You know, this thing is held together perfect. I tell a lie, there was one small crack that I found. It was sitting on here. So on your mud guard, had a small crack on here, but most mud guards will get them. And the other one, this connection here that comes in and around, there was also a small crack here. So I had the guys at Evolution Conversions. They helped me out here and we put a gusset in. So this is not a chassis. This is not a part of the chassis or anything. So it's sort of just, that's what holds the boat. It doesn't take too much weight. You got the keel, you got the full keel support that runs the whole way of the boat down underneath there. But we're on our way over to the Kimberleys at the moment, and I wanted to make sure this trailer was in tip-top shape. So the boys at Evolve sorted this one out for me. We did both sides, on this side and on the other side of the trailer. Hopping in, we've got 31-inch tyres the whole way around it. Spare sits up the front, you would have seen that one there. So all on mag wheels. She's a pretty special trailer, really. Very happy with this one. We did have a Dumbier before we got this, and we used to do maybe 4 or 5 trips up the Gulf a year, and every time we would get home, I'd have to be repairing the trailer. So we thought, bugger it, we'll get this one sorted. On the back, we've got the big Yamaha 175. That is the max horsepower for this boat, so it's 6.2 meters long. Max horsepower was 175, and we didn't want to be looking for power, so that one was pretty important. Show you a little look up the front here. So this one here is the water tank. This is fresh water in here. It holds about 60 litres. Now I'll show you a quick look underneath. I'm not sure if you'll see too much, but there is a fresh water washdown. So you probably see them little nozzles that are in here. The fresh water washdown, you hit that little switch up the front there and it turns the pump on. The pump will sort of spray down on any sort of steel components in there, and that'll give it a good wash down. Down in the back here, this is an extra little section. So I've got a tap up the front that we can turn off, and this will pump the water through the pump out to the back. And then when you're in very remote areas, you can put your muffs on the back here and you can give your engine a flush down. Pretty cool little feature. End of the boat, I'll just show you a quick look here. So these on the back, these are definitely not factory. I had these ones fitted. So we got electro tab trim tabs on the back. I had a fabricator in Cairns. He welded this section on. So what that does is, because the Stabicraft has got sort of an arrow transom, helps when you're backing up on fish or whatever, it helps spread the water, the back of the boat. Because it's got that sort of an arrow shape to it, we needed to square these tabs up with this. So that's worked out good. Transducers on the back, we've got a 3-in-1 Lowrance and TM275 low, high, wide AMR transducer on this one. So this one is able to move up and down, clips in place. The only drama with this one is it's being so big, what it does is I feel like it slows you down and chews a little bit more fuel, but holy, what a lump of transducer, and man, it works a treat. Lastly, on the back of the boat, so this is what we call, you know, an engine stay or whatever. So this one supports the engine on your rough roads. It was purposely built on the trailer, so this one can be removable. You got the pin here, 2 pins drop down into the trailer like so, comes up, holds the outboard here, and happy days, there you go. The other little things that I've put into this, so I just got a bit of PVC pipe and I cut these into place so that you put one on your steering ram here, the other one on the other side, and what it does is stops your steering from moving, stops this from sort of playing around and getting bashed. A little bit of hose tube to help support it there, and yeah, she's been a good thing. Let's jump on up and I'll show you a look inside. We're up in the front of the boat here now and just at the cast deck. Massive area in this cast deck. It's she's one of the best storage areas I've ever sort of seen in the boat, and that's massive for when you're doing long trips offshore. Show you a quick look in here. It's not going to be pretty, I'm going to warn you, because we are traveling, and she's chockers. Alright, we got 2 swags in here. We've got a gas cooker, we got little Mrs. tent. There's 3 different tackle boxes underneath. Cooking gear, fly rods, tackle boxes, fly boxes, buckets, kids' toys, wading boots. Man, the list goes on. This thing's huge. There's a smoker in there. There is that much room in there, it's unbelievable. We used to run a 60-litre fridge in there also. You would have seen that in the Coast to Coast series, and also Land of the Giants, the Barra series as well. We had the big fridge up the front. Massive area. Alright, moving forward. Up front's the anchor well. She's a pretty big little area in here. Not going to get right into that. For electronics, we've got the 16-inch HDS Live. It runs on a big ram mount here. It sort of sits up top. We've got the 80-pound Minn Kota, 72-inch leg, and let me tell you, she needs all of that 72 inches when she's pretty rough. It's yeah, because it's such a long boat and the waves, it wants to try and come out of the water, so it definitely needs it. Moving back, more to do with that sounder here. We've got the GFAB telescopic transducer pole, and that runs our active target. This is still the AT1, so the box for the active target sits up inside here. Plenty of room in there for it. We've also got the compass up in the top for the autopilot. I'm going to try not to miss anything, alright? Had a lot of questions about this boat and how we sort of do what we do, running offshore, doing big trips like coast to coast, and that type of thing. Try and slow down a little bit, make sure I don't forget anything. While we're at the front of the boat though, our sleeping arrangements, with this being such a big cast deck, it's good, but the only thing is if we want to roll swags out on here, we carry a little table, one of them ones you get from Bunnings. It's just a little fold out table. It sits in front of the console perfectly here, just flat up against that. and it sits here perfect. So it comes in here, comes out to about, oh, yay long. However, that is perfect. It's enough on the second leg setting, and it sits flat with this. So it's like having a massive big double bed up front. You can fit a double swag up there or 2 singles, whatever you want to do, but it works perfect. And then when you're cooking in the morning for your brekkie or whatnot, throw your swags up, cook on your table, happy days. Moving back, big storage area, so all of the lures, when we're on trips and whatnot, they usually live in here. I've carpeted all of that. Yeah, you can stick your lures up inside there, no dramas. On the other side, big rod locker, awesome rod locker. You can fit popping rods in there, so full 8-foot popping rods, works out perfect. Reels, you name it. But if you want to just store rods in there, I think I've had up to like 15 rods in there, rod socks, all of that type of thing, so they don't bash each other. And unbelievable, so much storage, is so good. On this side though, this is where the fly rods live. So the reels usually come up this end, full 9-foot fly rods, poke them down into the end. I've had 3 rods in here, rigged up, ready to go. What else? While we're at the front, let's talk about the stereo. So this box here was custom built, fabricator made in Cairns. Daniel, he sorted this one out for us. Sorry it's so bloody filthy. There's not much I can do about it. But we have up front, we got 2 8x8 JL audio speakers. These are the big ones, top of the range ones that have the lights in them. And we got the sub in the middle, so she's definitely loud. In the console, moving on with the stereo, got 2 7.7s on either side. They both sit at the top of the console. And then down the bottom, we've got another set of 8x8s. To run all of these speakers, it was a bit of a shuffle. We needed a lot of amplifier power. The amps that we're running in this, we've got one 5-channel amp. What that one runs is those 3 speakers up the front, right? So the 2 8x8 speakers needed to be bridged. So 2 channels, 1 speaker. And then, so that's 4 channels for your front amplifier, and then the other 1 channel for your sub. It's a bit of a tongue twister. And then moving into the console, these ones here, these 4 speakers that sit in the console, we have a 6-channel amplifier that runs that. Same down the bottom. The 8x8s were bridged. The 7x7s don't need to be bridged. They just run off a single channel each. I get my breath back. We'll move on to the console. So up in here, running all of that stereo system, we've got the JL Media Master 100S. This one runs all of them speakers. You can go into different channels, turn the speakers up and down, whichever ones you want. We got the Yamaha dial up here, quad lock phone charger, which works out a treat, and another 16 HDS Live in the dash here. This little one here, that's the one for our disco lights. So you put that one on, you get lights all throughout them speakers. It also works out well for lights when you're sort of sitting around at night time, bit of a mood light, you know, it's real good. And your last little dial up the top, so this is the electro trad for the trim tabs. That's how you drive that bad boy there. Little switch panel here. This one was custom built. I can't remember who built this one. A couple of lads down south. Might be able to chuck a little message in the description or something like that. But we've got nav lights, anchor light, deck lights. The deck lights are these ones here. They're your steady lights. We've got 4 of those around the boat. Sometimes I think it can actually be too much. And yeah, she's bloody bright. You can half blind you. Also got the bilge pump, bait tank, active target transducer up the front. I wanted that one on a switch so that we could turn it off whenever. Stereo, wanted that one on a switch so that it doesn't draw power when we're on long trips. 24-volt charger, we'll get onto that one later. Auto bilge so that I can turn that on and off so that when I'm fly fishing I don't have a noisy little bilge pump coming on and off. And we got 2 accessory switches. These ones aren't really being used, So we might be able to use them later on down the track for some more gadgets when we want to put them in. Little GME 2-way, we all got one of them. She's pretty simple. Alright, let's get into this charging system and what we're running for batteries, eh? One thing I didn't want to forget was the fuel economy. So in this one we run 200 litres, that's under the floor. So that's our fuel tank that's on the boat. Any big extended trips we usually take anywhere from an extra 100 to 200 litres. But economy on it, so when she's fully loaded, we are getting anywhere from 1.4 kilometres per litre to 1.7, 1.8. When she's not completely fully loaded, we'll get up over that 2 kilometres per litre, so it's pretty good. How I try to plan my trips, I try and work off 1 nautical mile to a litre, which is usually works out, you end up having too much fuel, but you'd rather be looking at it than looking for it. Don't worry, I've had to look for it too, and that's not overly nice either. A couple of mates can vouch for that one. Pretty good at running out of fuel. But yeah, she's not bad. She's not bad on the juice. 200 litres isn't a hell of a lot for some of the trips that we're doing, so we're able to do a lot of kilometres. Moving into the batteries, you might not be able to see too much in here, but I'll just take you through and sort of try and explain what we got. We got 2 Invicta lithium batteries. Now these ones here, these are what they call a hybrid battery, and you can actually start your engine off these batteries. Both batteries have got 100 amp hours of, I guess you call house capacity, and both of them have this cool little gadget here. I'm not going to push it, but if one of these go flat, this little gadget here means that you've got a jump start capability built inside these lithium batteries. I've had to use that before. The battery goes flat, you hit that little button and boom, you've got enough power to be able to start your engine again. Definitely look into them, they're a game changer. Continuing on with what we got inside here, I'm not sure if you'll see it, we've got a little red arc charger that's down the back. This one converts from 12 volts, so it takes the current off that outboard and turns the 12 volt into 24. That's what I was talking about when I showed you that 24 volt charger switch. The reason it's on a charger switch is because when you turn that bad boy on, it actually starts to pull draw out of these batteries. So making sure that I had that on a switch was very important, because I didn't want that to run all the time. Also in there we've got a Victron shunt. That one is brilliant. The shunt runs both of these here, so the shunt is able to go Bluetooth, goes into your phone. You can see all of the incoming current, all of the outgoing current. You get to constantly see what sort of charge your batteries are and where you're sitting. That's how I know when I got to turn the 24 volt on and turn it off. So it's pretty good. I get to see how much that massive stereo is chewing out of these batteries, and which is a hell of a lot, believe me. The battery that's up the front, we've got a 24 volt 100 amp hour Invicta lithium as well. That one's, we're lucky enough to have that one. It's got its own Bluetooth capability. So also you got your phone sitting here, can check the capacity on your phone of the front battery and also these batteries. Very important when you're sort of running massive big trips. You want to stay on top of your house, you want to stay on top of your batteries at the back. That's one of the most important for me. I think that's about it in here. I'll sit back, make sure I haven't forgotten anything, because I sort of only wanted to do it once. A lot of you have asked about doing this sort of rig rundown, so hopefully I haven't missed anything for you. We did touch earlier on the transducer at the back, that massive big one I showed you, the TM275 low high wide. So that one is a dual channel, I did mention that. One thing with that transducer though, and how we come into drama, was this screen up front. We ran out of ports in the back of this. So what that meant was, to be able to run that transducer efficiently, we needed to put a Simrad S5100 in. I'm not going to climb down in there, it's right in underneath, but if you don't know what that is, it's pretty much a sonar module. You can plug one of those, the one plug out of the Simrad into your Lowrance, and then both of those plugs out of that transducer at the back, they go into the S5100. Works perfect. It actually boosts the sonar capability of that transducer and works a treat. The little Sea Guardian, not many of you would have seen this before. So Sea Guardian is actually like electronic rust proofing, so it helps with any sort of electrolysis throughout the boat. It's a pretty fancy sort of bit of kit, and it works a treat. This boat's probably 3 years old and there is next to no electrolysis on it. So I think it's definitely working. The only other little thing that I wanted to touch on, these little knobs here, and on the other side, they are for our little bimini. I never was going to get a bimini, but as soon as Bub come along, we needed to get some sort of shade, and to be honest, I actually like it. Now that we've got it, it's pretty bloody good. I'll even use it when I'm out on my own. And it's only a small one. She fits in here pretty good. So it sits in there, the legs go behind the rear box, they come up. She sits pretty flush on the floor. Anyway, I think I've covered everything. If there's any sort of questions, make sure you drop them down in the comments, and I'll answer all of them anyway, but I'm pretty sure I got to all of that. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you in the next one. Make sure you hit the like button, subscribe, all the rest, really helps us out. And now I've got to pack it, throw the cover on, get all filthy dirty, and hit the road. One thing I know I did forget is the extendable drawbar. Awesome bit of kit. This little tow ball here folds around on the bar and it comes up and goes underneath this one. Gives us, oh, I don't know, maybe an extra 2.5, 3 meters. And also we've got the spare hub that sits on this little gadget here. So this one's actually a drop down jockey wheel. You can put your big spare on top of here. The whole big kit and caboodle sits down the bottom, and means that you can push it on the sand. I knew I was going to forget something.